What's
Hello.
up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Witches Craft. And yes, hello, I am back. I know I was out for a little bit, but we're here again. We're doing this. We're still going pretty strong. Um, and this is our latest episode. This tonight, we're just gonna go ahead and just kind of catch up with everything that we've got going on. I know there's a whole lot of stuff that's happening out there. Promise you we will get around to that. But tonight, just because it's been kind of a chaotic start, and I know we're almost an hour late. um but it is what it is. Things do happen. We can always blame it on the moon. We're witches. We always say it's the moon, so let's keep it at that. So yeah, things went on. It's a bit chaotic, so we thought maybe we should just kind of keep this one simple and maybe even a little bit shorter.
Yep.
But yeah, um, so as you can see, I am not in my usual space, and there's some reasons for that. Um, and it's been a ride. It's been a ride for the last month. Personally, I've got um, new places, new job. That's what's going on. So it's been a little chaotic. Our garage goblin also has some pretty intense things going on. Not my story to tell, but uh, it's something. It's definitely something. So she won't be with us tonight. Um, she'll still be around in spirit. Definitely around in spirit. Just not very active tonight. So Gwen, what
Keep
is
it
going on?
short, dude.
There she is.
Well,
Never mind.
she's
So
in.
yes.
I'm the delay. I actually somehow managed to purge my passwords to most of my major accounts and had to recover them, including the Facebook, StreamYard, which is what we broadcast on, YouTube, our Gmail, and took me about 3.5 hours to put them all back together. Don't do that. It's bad, and I don't even know why. But I am blaming the moon, but I'm also blaming that I think that there was just so many people logged into the computers today and on air and online, and with a huge amount of people just looking at election results, which is I think what is really happening today. So and we were successful, and that's really pretty much the extent of what I want to say about that. I am going to probably pop on to either this channel or my Facebook account and talk about that at a later date. But so there's just a lot happening, and the building's getting painted here, and so I've been busy. That's what's happening with me. I didn't even prepare with the stone today, but I am kind of thinking that I will talk about citrine. So
Mm, that's good. Uh, Hang on a second. I got a little bit of a message from our goblin. Something about intrusive thoughts.
All my intrusive thoughts are coming out through Tequila's messaging today. Hello. This
Hi.
is
Yes.
this is producer
this is
hand.
this is she's live in a studio, kinda. So
Yes.
you guys are like out on the road. Are you driving back? So
Literally, we are in a vortex and I am navigating my way through it and we'll be out of it in 45 minutes. But until then, you have an hour. Make
So
it good.
we
so
have an hour
basically,
though.
Chop
yeah.
chop.
So basically, you could say, for those who actually watched American Graffiti, we're kind of playing the Wolfman uh role here. It's like you never know where the Wolfman is actually like broadcasting from. So that's
Oh
where we
yeah,
are.
we're in the world.
Oh my god.
Is that the Attack of the Aliens?
Yeah.
It's like the little thing. It's
He's
been
so
there's
cute. I love
really
it.
been some strange energy out. I mean, it's like I didn't expect to get my building painted, but that's
Right.
happened. And I'm really happy about it. It definitely needed painting. And I was a little bit disappointed because I had asked for the windows to be updated. I mean, this is all personal, kind of weird stuff. But I had asked for the windows to be replaced, rather not painted, but replaced because they were like really fogged up. Like when the seal breaks, it gets like to be like a glass mirror, and so the shop windows, like you couldn't really see in, and it was kind of looked like we didn't clean our windows ever, and or we had like those mirrored windows that used to be popular in the 60s. Anyway, it was none of it was true. I just needed to, it was just the window was like the seal was broken and some moisture had gathered, and a lot of that was way worsened when we got flooded a couple of years ago. And so I messaged the new management company for the building, and they sent a guy out, and I wasn't sure when the guy went out, and the guy said, yeah, "Oh, you guys are going sideways there." Anyway, I said, they came out, they did an estimate, and they were supposed to do 3, and the guy somehow managed to say they were going to do 2, and then the new management company waived my lease and said, "No, you're responsible for the windows." And I thought, this is weird because like I've had the same landlord, they're awesome. And so on Sunday, it was Sunday, my landlord came out to kind of check up to see what was being done with the painting. And he said, "Well, that's not what I told him to do." So I'm probably getting a 3rd new window, possibly a 4th and a 5th, and a couple other repairs done that apparently he does intend to pay for. So I'm kind of happy about that. So it's been kind of like that. It's kind of like 2 steps forward, a giant step back, and then 3 steps forward. It's kind of weird. Like I feel like I'm doing this dance with energy, and a lot of and I'm also kind of always worried about the finances of the shop, especially since the whole COVID thing has taken us a while. But honestly, we're doing slightly better than we thought we would. Not well enough that makes me feel super comfortable, but it's kind of a shifting, kind of weird little shifting thing. So, and this kind of stuff isn't easy. We're definitely a service kind of industry. So,
yeah. But I mean, doing that energetic dance, that that's doing the shift. I mean, that's kind of been what I'm understanding. It's kind of been on a pretty big scale, pretty grand scale. I mean, as far as myself, it's been pretty turbulent. It's been pretty turbulent, but it's actually turned out pretty good as well. There was a point where I wasn't sure that I was actually going to still be around back home. And lo and behold, now I have a pretty awesome job. Did take up a pretty awesome job. I'm now working up towards being a kitchen manager, which is pretty much the step up from being the actual chef in this point. It's not, it wasn't consecutive in the same place, but I seem to be kind of progressing in all along the culinary field. So it's like the place that I'm at, it's absolutely wonderful. I love the crew, love the work, love the atmosphere. It's really amazing. And that came to me at a point where I was just really at my lowest. I was getting super desperate. I had no idea what was actually going to happen. But lo and behold, it turned out for the best. There were some places that I thought I was going to end up at, and some places that I thought were pretty good. Turns out, there's always an underbelly to something, and what I've got going right now is actually pretty much the best right now.
That's really good.
Happy. It's a challenge. It's a great challenge, though. It's the first time I'm actually like really super happy to like go in and face the day. So it's like, all right. But yeah,
I'm hoping that it stays that way, and I think it will, because it feels comfortable when you told me about what it was, and I know what it was. I know what you shared, and it feels to me like that is going to be a really good thing. And now we just have to get everybody else all squared away, and kind of get back to where there's a nice kind of balancy thing.
Yeah, nice kind of balanced and
feel
flow.
like the store is doing, it's kind of starting to, we've been when we moved, we did a pretty good quick little climb. We were doing okay, and then COVID hit, and it was very tenuous to say the least. And then we flooded right when we thought we were going to get back okay, and that took a lot of effort. And anytime you close up for any reason, and there's, I mean, it looks like the building's empty, and people think, well, you're going to be gone, and that's really in the camera.
Right.
So it was kind of really a difficult sort of time. And then it's kind of went up and down and up and down, but it's been slowly going, like, doing a little bit more every year. And it was interesting because I talked to somebody that works in a store very close to where my store was located, and we were doing pretty okay there. And she was telling me the Capitola Village just across the board is down, and we're not. And so, and with all the stuff happening, out there in the world, political wise and so on, I feel like that we are not taking a huge hit, that we're still lightly kind of climbing, that is a really good indicator that we're actually doing better than we think. And if the times were a little less turbulent, we might be doing much better than we are doing, than we are right now. And that could easily come back to that. And so for somebody that owns a very, very small business, you shudder when someone says, oh, this other store that usually does, so much more than me is down like 6,000 in a month. And you're thinking, like, I'd be okay if I was getting that much a month, Well, I mean, it's not the same, but I mean, it's like, as long as we're not taking that kind of a percentage wise hit, which would be like, would be kind of like extreme for us, that's a good thing. And, I read, I do professionally read, and my readings I'm getting more of them, which is good. I don't want to read all the time. I usually have readers here, but it's kind of nice when I get my own clients, and those have been going up a little bit, which is awesome. And so there's some things like that. We're still looking forward to when you're able to take some time and do some classes here, because as you know, we have a group room, and those should start picking up, just in general. So overall, I think it's going to be an interesting year.
Yeah, I think so too. It's been a really big lesson. And I know we just had Samhain pass, we had the other Los Muertos pass, and it's like, looking through all of the lessons, looking through everything that has kind of transpired, it's been all about balance. It really has been all about balance. I mean, I can't speak for anybody else, but in my experience with this, it's been kind of a reflection on who were the ancestors, who were my ancestors, who was my family, and what kind of people were they, and just kind of looking back on it, because this is the time where they actually get remembered, and it's the first time that I've actually kind of had that opportunity, or that that hindsight, really, that a lot of them were people that I do not want to aspire to be.
Well,
like, absolutely. It's like,
I had a grandfather who was an absolute alcoholic on my mom's side. And, I used to occasionally see him when I was a kid. And I think he just had to linger around because he had to kind of like ensure that, like, he sort of watched over my mom, I think, a little bit, because he kind of gave up that right when he was alive. Her two brothers kicked him out when she wasn't quite a teenager. She used to tell stories of waiting for the shoe to drop, the last shoe, because then they knew he was asleep. And it's not like he was a bad person, but he was very much part of the Wild West, and settling into a city wasn't good for him. If he had continued onward in that endeavor, but the world was settling down and he wasn't. you
Mhm.
know, and
Yeah.
and there is kind of some of that's in our, we all come from some different, interesting backgrounds, and
Right.
my grandmother was born on the Oregon Trail when it was still the Oregon Trail. There was nothing out here, So my mom was born in 1922. So you can kind of look at how at a certain point there was this actual generational shift, and what we think of as modern society sort of started in the 20th century, because before that, pretty much before the Industrial Revolution, nothing really shifted. So you
Right.
didn't have time to really study your spiritual side and grow, right? Just didn't.
Yeah.
And
And I
that
mean, on
passes on down.
well, yeah. See, on bless you. On my end, there was that mindset that it's like, okay, nose to the grindstone and just stick with it and just work on getting money however you can. But then
Mhm.
also, uh, there's a lot of toxicity. There's a lot of toxicity that came with that. On my end, there was like a whole lot of machismo. There
Mhm.
was a whole lot of um, holding grudges, all
Mhm.
of that. I mean, siblings at war with each other.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that. There was a lot of that. There's a lot of jealousy. Oh, how does this person have this much, or how come this person gets that much attention? How come they like this person better than me? Uh, a lot of the victim mentality. Um,
That's very hard to
and
live
only
with.
and only recently have I thought about it, and it's because a lot of it is where I am now, and a lot of it is the company that I keep now. It's I've learned so much, and I continue to learn. I continue to learn, and I continue to grow. It's like now I can look back at that person who was a part of that family before and realize, like, okay, there's another part. Even though I can honor them, I still don't want to be a part of that. So, like, even with the ones that have passed, and the question was put to me by the person that I'm staying with, um, like, how how can I still go about like honoring them? And my response to that was, okay, spiritually, I know that there is that connection somehow, but because of who they were and because of my energy now, because like we never really got along, it's like the best way for me to honor them is pretty much just leave them alone. Just
Well, I don't put a lot of effort into contacting my grandfather on my mom's
right.
side. I've had some interesting contact with my grandmother on my dad's side. I know from talking to one of my cousins that my grandmother on my mother's mother was quite strict, and I
Mhm.
haven't really felt like a big interaction with her, which is, I mean, I kind of a few times have felt, that, but for the most part, I feel very connected to my grandmother on my dad's side. Now, what's interesting is that she looked a lot like me. Like there,
Hmm.
I have pictures of her, and she's, I mean, especially when I was younger, and she died real young, so she really looked a lot like me. I never knew either of them because they were both gone before I was born.
Yeah.
Um, so, and my grandfather on my dad's side, I never really had a lot of contact with him, but I have really felt my grandmother and my dad's sister. So, and once in a while I'll feel one of my uncles that I did know, kind of, or my mom and dad too. But it's an interesting thing because this is the time of year where things get very, the veil gets quite thin, and you can still sort of feel that connection. But I don't try to leave myself open to everything that's
Right.
there.
Yeah.
So, it's a thing.
Yeah.
I try not to be too open to it. I mean, if it's present, then I'll get it. But I don't go like, I don't necessarily. I know a lot of Wiccans do, and and we have done some ghost hunting through here. And we used to have a ghost hunters group through the shop, and I am thinking about reviving that because I do have a lot of equipment if the batteries haven't turned to acid. Well, otherwise, I might go back to that, but I haven't. But I haven't done that lately because I just haven't had a ton of energy to get to that stuff. So, but I do feel like there's a long time connection with, that we have with our ancestry. And sometimes it takes a lot to get past like family cycles, and there are those. I definitely had some in my house. And the good thing about being in the position that I am in is I tend to work with a lot of really good practitioners. And we trade readings and we talk, and you're kind of batting ideas off of the people that you work with anyway. And when you're working with a bunch of people that are very into spirituality, you wind up learning a lot, and you don't even realize you're learning it. Normally I go to the Samhain ritual with a community seed, and I just didn't have the energy to go this year. I just wanted to just be quiet, and I'm not sure why, because sometimes I'm really, this is the first time I really I thought, I kind of planned on going, and I just don't, I'm not feeling it. I'll probably do the Yule one, but I just wasn't feeling it. I had so much going on. I just wanted to focus, and I wanted to focus. And again, we're talking about ancestors. My dad's not political science. So this time of year, the election and all of that becomes very like, I can hear him, I can, it's like he's there watching everything. And I really had a hard time shutting off the news, but I actually feel like it's okay because we did what we needed to do. So I could actually shut it off and do this. But he would have been screaming in my head if I hadn't watched it that long. And I was watching it on my computer, of course, because I'm at work. Where else would I watch it? So I mean, it's kind of that, that's the time of year.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just overall, it's amazing what you can actually pick up. Even when it comes to like that, like not having the energy to actually go to something
that I like to go to.
Yeah, there's a lesson to be learned in that. It's like, okay, what is it that you maybe were not really inclined to pick up at that point,
Well,
and it's like,
when I look at it, I had some long talks with some people that were troubled, that were sort of customers and, clients that week. And, and I actually, that's why I keep the store. It's not like I'm making hands over fist money, but like, I feel like we're needed in that capacity. And so to be there for those people is very, very important to me. And I've kind of felt a little spent, but I also feel like that if I can't go and be in a ritual with others where my energy is able to be shared, that if it's enough where I just feel I need to just be at home, that honoring what my body and my spirit is asking me to do instead of pushing myself becomes important. And so even though I went home, I didn't go to bed particularly early. I think I was watching, I was probably binge watching something, after I got home. But, it's like, even just being able to just, sit down and just be comfortable and have a cat or two near me is sometimes what I need to do instead of a ritual. I mean, sometimes that's really more important to me than pretty much anything else, going in and taking a nap, or, sometimes that's happening too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And you guys have been pushing it because of the situation you had to. I mean, may I share that you came and you didn't have a job, and when you came back to California till you found one, which is, how that is, right? So
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah. I mean, that's essentially what happened. And right now, honestly, it's our garage goblin who is struggling, quite a bit. But again,
Yeah,
not much story to tell.
no,
Um,
and not, and I'm gonna add this because it's still not my story. It sometimes things happen to us through no fault of our own, and one of the single most annoying things that I have ever encountered in the metaphysical New Age community is people saying, "Well, your spirit is making these choices. You have to ask yourself why." Oh, no, you do not. Sometimes shit
yeah,
happens and it's not your
exactly.
fault. And,
Yeah,
is there a lesson? Is it possible that some part of your pre-birth spirit said, "Yeah, I want to learn some of those lessons"? Yeah. Do you think you knew exactly what was going to happen? I somehow doubt it, or you might not have agreed. But I think that sometimes there's a path that you want to get certain lessons in, but I don't think you're necessarily choosing to be miserable or to have something terrible happen or to have something that's so like, that's, I mean, we do get spikes in our cortisol level, and I'm pretty sure I would understand if Jane's was really high right now. I get it.
yeah.
So,
So,
yeah, I mean,
but
I wouldn't, I, not my story to tell.
right. I mean, the best thing that we can do is continue moving forward, continue looking forward, understanding, taking note. What was the lesson?
Mm-hmm.
Did we learn it? Did we not? Um, but still, just kind of picking it up and continuing one more step at a time.
That's
Um, like even with what happened today in us getting started, there's a lesson in that, but we still continue moving forward.
we're
So,
moving forward.
and we are going to make some adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
You guys probably won't even notice what the adjustments are, but yeah, well, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. So what is it that we have? What is it that we have coming up magically? What kind of events do we have?
Psychic fairs this weekend in the parking lot. That's this weekend here at Avalon Visions. Um, so that's a cool thing. We're going to do I think the Yule celebration is going to be, that's
Hmm.
going to come around. Um, so there's that. Look out, we have a Mercury retrograde coming too.
Oh, wonderful! On top of everything.
Everybody else. I want to point out that, I mean, if you're not operating in a complete state of ego, you usually can see the lessons in things.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to say this. 2 weeks ago, the orange guy knocked out the east wing, right?
Hmm.
If he had waited and just done his like toilet renovation and not said anything, nobody would have noticed that. But I can't imagine that knocking out the East Wing before the election was intellectually savvy, because a toilet, they might have gone, well, I can understand them doing a toilet renovation, even if it's a bit, over the top. But taking out an entire wing, that's ego. And when does your timing? Oh, we're going to do it before the election. I mean, that had to have made those numbers tank even more. And so what is the lesson in that? Well, have some empathy for people around you, don't do that kind of shit. I mean, so there's lessons in everything that we can learn. Not that I think he's capable of learning, but we can all learn, like, by watching the worst of the worst do something that is truly, 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 truly stupid. You can actually say to yourself, okay, if I'm going to do something that's radical, maybe I need to think about timing a little bit, because timing can be, like, time on, what is the timing of this? And then if you're having something that's happening, to you that isn't your fault, you can also kind of focus on why is that happening? Like, what could you have done differently, even if you couldn't have done anything differently? And then try not to go there again.
Yeah. So,
So,
I think our garage goblin has something. So, yeah. All right,
okay.
here we go. So, there she is.
Garage
The little
goblin.
goblin.
I had a very traumatic thing that happened today.
Uh-oh.
Traumatic thing that happened this week.
Okay.
I had a dream that my inner child was slowly suffocating.
That your what was
because-
suffocating?
Inner child.
Okay.
Due to the amount of just sheer negative things just being blasted towards me, and it feel like I couldn't go deal with it. So I did the nice thing, and I asked it if it wanted ice cream, and I made ice cream from scratch, like sugar and cream. Did the freezing and had like that much of it.
Was that you actually made ice cream, or is that in the dream?
Yes.
Okay, good.
No, that was me making ice cream.
Okay.
And I didn't make a lot. I made all of like half a cup,
Okay.
and like I felt my inner child feeling more alive than it's ever been in like the last 2 years because of all of the negative press that has just been is what is. Um I do feel like all of us need to go take little steps to just find ways in for inner child to be delighted, because otherwise like we're going to go suffocate under all of the negative pressure that is directly around us.
Yeah. Well, when I get overwhelmed with stuff, I tend to pull back. I'm grateful because our reader Aneth has a jigsaw puzzle habit, and she brings in jigsaw puzzles. And so, believe me, I eat plenty of ice cream and stuff. But when she does bring in a jigsaw puzzle, and I need to just pull away and not focus, I wind up doing a jigsaw puzzle in the group room, which we have I some years ago, knowing that I had cats, bought myself a very nice puzzle box thingy that you can, put a puzzle on and then, store it. And I brought it here. Even though I should be doing other things, there are occasions where I just sit down and do something that is very, relaxing. You sometimes just have to feed the child, and the child me used to really enjoy actual jigsaw puzzles. Yes, I do use my phone jigsaw puzzle. I have 2 jigsaw apps on here that I will, do, but it's easier, it's not easier, it's just more relaxing to actually have that puzzle and look for the little pieces, and other people here, sometimes contribute too. So I think that's an inner child thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be food. It can be, playing with the game, or some people knit, It's kind of the same sort of concept as taking a rake and raking sand in Zen. Like, you sometimes just have to do something that's mindless and fun.
Mhm. Yeah.
But I prefer the ice cream, or the sherbet that the guys at Emozione's Bakery has. 'Cause I don't have to make it.
All right. So, what you said you wanted to talk about citrine as our stone of the week. I know we're just kind of
No,
we're leaving it tonight, guys. So,
that kind of goes back to processing out negativity. We have talked about citrine before, and you can find citrine up on my website, avalonvisionsproducts.com, if you want to buy it online, or you can buy it in here. Citrine is a stone that if you put it around other stones, it helps to keep them clear. Citrine is also considered something that helps you, it helps you attract money. You can put it in your cash register drawer. We probably have some in there. You can also put it in your pocket or put little pieces in your wallet. So citrine is a really good stone, and it really helps to keep away negativity. It helps to kind of process it through. It's pretty, it's gold colored, it's kind of it's in the quartz family. It's quartz that grows off into, it's realistically, it's about this color, oh, these are sample cards. Oh, I gotta talk to her. A friend of mine does pendulum charts, and she's brought me a sample deck to look at. So we'll see what happens with that. But it's kind of like citrine is like a very useful stone for stuff like that, and it's self-cleaning, so you don't have to go and clean it off anywhere. You could just assume it's going to be fine. Put it in wallet, keep it with you. That's the stone that I like.
What chakra does it align with?
What was that?
What chakra does it align
with? If you think of your chakras as being, red at the base, orange in your sex, and then kind of a yellow right around your solar plexus, and green is heart, and the turquoise is the throat, and then you get the indigo, and then you get the lavender, indigo around your throat, lavender around your crown. It's you kind of can take the color of a stone and just go like, where is this on the body? Well, if the orange is in your sex and the green is up here and the yellow, which is the kind of yellow golden, is right at your solar plexus, that's where the stones line up. Now, you can look in the Crystal Bible, which is great. You can look it up online, but you can definitely feel a citrine right in your solar plexus. And will it help with other things? Yes, of course, because it's a cleanser, so it's going to work on your whole everything. So that's how it aligns.
Well, I think that's actually going to do it for tonight, you guys. Like I said, tonight was just really about catching up and just like kind of seeing where everybody is. Starting next week, hopefully we'll dive deeper into the more magical stuff. Now that we've kind of got some sense of stability as far as the cast, yeah, we're gonna come back. We're gonna come back strong for you guys. So, not sure what the topic will be for next week. We'll probably touch a little bit on the elections and reactions to like what goes on with that. So, there's even lessons to be learned on that.
And a quick note in that if you're following it today, most of those results are in. You can find them on msnbc.com. I couldn't get Ballotpedia to work, but it is my understanding that in almost every major concerning race, from the 3 judges in Pennsylvania that could have lost their seats by a vote of no confidence, to the West Virginia State House, the governor in West Virginia, the Virginia State House, the governor in Virginia, the New Jersey governor's race, the mayor's race in New York with Cuomo versus the other guy and then our Prop 50 here in California. Yeah, thank you. The name was gone for a moment. All of those races have gone to the Democrats. And this is kind of this to me, without delving deeply, I just want to say it brings a lot of hope, because what this means is that and more people in New York turned out than since like the 1960s. And I know that. And I want to say that is a sign that, even though we get very complacent about what's happening in our world, when you start to go like, oh, wait a minute. No. People do wake up, and what we're waking up to is we have to be not complacent. And I think today was a fantastic example of that. And when we talk about shifting times and everything, if you feel a shift in the next week where you feel like you could do something about it, this is the time. And this this today is a turning point. So, this is where people went, wait, talk to the hand, we're done, right? So,
Mhm.
so I think the chaos is starting to slow down. I feel like this is the reality. The chaos is starting to come to a slow.
And the tides are definitely going to be shifting. They're going to be changing. So,
Oh yeah.
so
Oh
we'll
yeah.
see. We'll see
We'll
how it goes and where it goes from here. So,
And we're going to regroup and come back next week too. So,
yeah. So,
and and you'll either be in a very pleasant car where you have great Wi-Fi, because that's been a good
right.
connection. Stay right where you are, Joe. And hopefully I won't have an hours long attempt to get my password back because
Right.
on everything. So
All right, guys. Well, that's it for tonight. Thank you so much. Be sure to check us out. Give us a like on YouTube. We're also on Facebook. Also, go check out Avalon Visions if you guys haven't yet.
okay.
And let us know what you guys want us to talk about. Let us know what you guys would like us to cover. We always appreciate you guys. So thank you
Absolutely.
guys. We'll see you again next week.
You got it.